try not to cry, but just bear with me. Okay, aloha. Most of you guys know I'm Daphne, to others by a different name. Yeah, April is actually my real name, but I go by Daphne. When Mr. Peterson told us that this was going to be an introductory speech, I thought about what I wanted to talk about and of who I am, and I had picked 3 people that made me who I am today. One is my grandpa, the other one is a family friend, and the other one is my grandma. I'm born and raised in California. I have mixed ethnicities, probably can't tell, but I'm Hispanic, Azteca, and French, along with Irish, Dutch, German, Scottish, English, and a little bit of Italian. I have 2 parents. I am the oldest of 2 sisters. Out of 3. I have a big family, including extended family as well, pretty much ranging from 250 to 500 family members. Because when you come from a Mexican or Filipino family, you have a huge family. Family is a huge part of who I am. Without family, I don't know what I would do. So the first person I'm going to talk about is my grandpa. He taught me fishing at the age of 3. So I used to go fishing at lakes and a place called Jess Ranch up in Apple Valley. He would carry me on his shoulders. He would play with me. He pretty much was the only grandpa I knew. My other grandpa passed away 9 years before I was born. So I pretty much had him growing up. In 1994, he suffered a stroke, so he couldn't do as much as he used to do when I was younger. But I would still help with him doing whatever he needed to do, whether it was helping get his shoes on or cleaning the house or sitting on his lap and helping him with the cooking with my grandma and go and sit in the living room and watch TV. He also taught me how to speak Spanish. I was also semi-fluent in Spanish, up in watching wrestling. He loved to watch Spanish wrestling, so I started watching wrestling because of him and watching novellas and westerns and in Spanish. He pretty much, the only way I kept being fluent was him only speaking to me in Spanish. So I would learn that and it became a part of my life. In the late November, he got November of 2000, he got pneumonia. He got really sick, so he was scheduled surgery on late December 4th of that year. As he was on the operating table, he passed away December 5th, 2000. And of course that devastated me. I woke up that morning knowing that my grandpa was no longer here. My dad was in that operating room because he works in the OR, so he witnessed his dad passed away. So that's kind of hard. But I learned from him that no matter what happens, if you get sick or whatever, life goes on. And I know he would want me to move on and not be stuck in the past. So I lost, after he passed away, I lost my Spanish touch. So I'm not that much fluent anymore, but I do understand a little bit. But that's as much as I can remember after that. But I still keep him with me at all times. So the next person is a family friend. Her name is Brenda Horton. She is she had 7 kids, so she left ranging from 14 to 30 now. But she taught me sign language, which one that I can remember is I love you. She also took me to a class for Polynesian dance, so I learned how to Polynesian dance. I did that along with 2 of her kids, so I learned that. So I'm learning a lot through her. If she was kind of like a second mom to me. If there was a problem I had and I couldn't go to my parents, I would go to her and she would help me figure out a way to resolve that problem. Also, if I needed help with homework, she was there because she was a teacher at SAJA, which is San Antonio Junior Academy before they changed it. I don't know what it is today. But she was a huge part of my life and our families. We had a church event, and they been going there since '98. And so the event was that if you didn't know a family, you would bring them home and get to know them. So after that night, we became really close family. So that's when she became a second mom to me, and her kids like brothers and sisters. Since I didn't have any brothers, so that was actually really good. So I would see her with my mom in the back, giggling and laughing, and so I would kind of get in on that, knowing what they were talking about. And so I would go, and when she needed a massage, I would go and help massage her shoulders because she had a lot of pain. In 2006, she got sick. So she's was in and out of the hospital, and even on April 5th, 2006, she passed away. No one knows why she passed away, but she left 7 kids behind. The youngest was 8. And the oldest at the time was 28. So I stepped up and was there for the youngest, because I was kind of, a sister to the youngest as well, and I was there for him, and he was just going through a hard time. I still remember the images of how she passed away, which that would actually really make me cry. But she passed away in her house. The littlest one was sleeping and didn't know that his mom passed away until the morning he woke up. So that she is now buried in Hawaii, at the Veterans Cemetery on the island of Oahu, because her husband was in the Air Force, so that's how she is buried in Hawaii. I went to, when my cousin had his wedding in 2007 of July, I went to her gravesite. I saw that, I just cried because knowing how much she meant a lot to me. And it's a custom in Hawaii to lay on a cemetery grave in remembrance of who the person was and how beautiful she was, or he, whatever life they had. I went the day with sadness, but also happy that she was in a better place. But we visited the grave with 2 of her kids because they were there visiting their older sister. The 2 oldest were married to Navy men, so they were stationed out there in Hawaii. So, but that day was just unbelievable. So sometimes when I look back, I see her. I see her every day. That's why I'm wearing a flower in my head, because she used to wear flowers in her hair. I would see her sometimes at church and wear flowers. And especially since she loved Hawaii. That's how I fell in love with Hawaii. On my graduation day in 2008, 2 of her daughters came to my graduation, and one of them had a special aid that is very rare. As I finished that day, I went down to where everybody was seating. She had the lei. She put it over my head and said, "Aloha ke akua," which means God is good. And that was something that Brenda would say a lot. Those words really have not left my mind, because I know in my heart that that's what she would want me to know, that God is good, even though she is no longer here. I know that she would want me to be whoever I want to be, and that's why I chose to be my career as a teacher, is because of her. She would be the teacher who is always there, even after school, to help those who needed help. And she loved her kids, whether it was her own kids or other kids that she did not know. She would still love them and get to know them and all that. And I love kids, so that would be a career for me. And I feel like I would have her with me as I teach and all that. That's what she was, a very important person. She also would say when someone needed her to do something or be at the school or whatever, she would say yes. She was the type of person who could not say no. So she pretty much would sign up for every event, no matter what it was, whether it was at church or school or one of her daughters' Polynesian dance. She would say yes. So I learned, because at that time I could not say no, so I learned to say, I could not learn the word no, so I would say yes to a lot of things, and so I learned to say no on some things. But yeah. Okay, and the last person is my grandma. She is the matriarch of the family on my mom's side of the family. She is a young 93-year-old. She was born in Kilmarnock, Virginia. I actually take care of her after last year. She had a TIA, which is a transit ischemic attack. So I take care of her in between classes, and sometimes after school or before school. And but I love her. I could not know what I would do without her. She is my only living grandmother I have left. So hopefully she lives a long, long time. But she is a undescribable woman to describe about her. But she's just that type of person who loves life, who loves God, and all that. So in conclusion, they have been a big influence on me and taught me so much through the years. And they brought me up of who I am today. So I will end with this. Never take life for granted, because you never know when it will be your last. It's like that song, Live Life Like You're Dying by Tim McGraw. Mahalo.